Lucy would like to tell you about Town Anywhere, which is a wonderful visioning participatory experience that can face into the climate and nature crises we are confronted with locally and globally. It's a process that involves time travel, making, and the co-creation of the flourishing future that we long for. And Lily will speak shortly after we're going to show some very short clips of the film that Lily made of the Town Anywhere Tooting that we made over a year ago, which is where I am living and where I belong. So Town Anywhere as a process was seeded in the very early days of the transition movement when Ruth Bentovim, now leading this process, and I were just looking at how to structure a creative process that allowed transitioners to travel forwards in time to imagine, build, and then actually inhabit a town where everything that could be done had been done to address these challenges. So you'll get a little taste of the process from the film clips, and it can involve between 50 people or 300 people, normally face-to-face, but online is also possible. And the structure that underlies the process has been built with great care so that participants in the process progress from being themselves as individuals. They meet a neighbour, and then with other neighbours, they begin to build up and create a whole street in the future, which could be 2035, it could be 2040. That choice is made by the town or initiative hosting it. And then come in the building blocks of the town. So whether it's food growing or transport or energy or health or governance or learning and so on. And people then are able to identify a role that they'd like to play in this town. And then swiftly, at speed, with very simple materials, they begin to design and build a whole town. We have an opening, we have a mayor, a town charter, celebration, and then a process where people can inhabit and visit the town. The framing is important because often it focuses on a town that has resilience and care for all. And it is this notion of flourishing that sits at the heart. So just for a short moment before we go to the first clip, we'd just like you to think for a moment about what enables you to stay flourishing now. What is your fullest life with the absence of harm? And if you were able to take this fantastic leap through a time portal, what would be the things that would keep you flourishing there in the future as well? So it could just be one or two things. It could be to do with your environment, your social network, or your actions, but just a couple of thoughts for half a minute. And then we'll just move to the first clip. What is it that keeps you flourishing now? And if in a future time, the things that you would hope would keep you flourishing? If you would just like to put a couple of words or thoughts that come or feelings that come immediately into chat, we'll just sort of gather those for half a minute. And then in a sense, you're doing exactly what everybody in the film is doing that you'll see. And this comes just before people begin to speak with their neighbours. Daily life that is keeping you flourishing. Taking little peeks into the homes of others. These are your neighbours. And you're just having a look at what it is that keeps them flourishing in 2040.
We're going to take it in turns to choose one of your themes to ask your neighbour to tell you a short personal memory or story about.
Like bees buzzing, making honey.
Thank you. So yeah, you saw a little bit there of the start. And when I was actually asked to make the film for Tooting's Town Anywhere, I watched a film that had already been made of a previous one, and and it's beautiful, and for anyone that wants to kind of go along to a town anywhere, it really kind of sets it up. So I thought I don't want to just kind of recreate another one for Tooting. I was really keen to put Town Anywhere on in Leytonstone. I thought I want a film that I would watch, to give me an idea of, if you're wanting to put on something like this, what do you need to know? Why would you want to do it? What goes into it? And so I was able to meet up with Lucy before and kind of see that they did lots of flyering beforehand, and kind of get to interview her about that. And that's in the film. And then for the setup the night before, and then for the day itself, which is obviously an incredible experience. And then the morning after, there's a follow-up meeting, a breakfast meeting, where you take all the incredible inspiration and ideas from the day and start to kind of bridge back. Okay, well, we're now back in 2026 or whenever, how do we take those steps forward? So my experience at that time, obviously, I wasn't doing Town Anywhere myself. I was watching it very much through the lens. But because I then was editing it over the next few months, I felt like I did it about 100 times. And there's a particular part that I absolutely loved working on, where everybody starts making. They start to physically build out of cardboard and sticks, and the room just lifts. The energy lifts. So I wanted to show you the second clip, which shows this
organized, beautiful chaos of flow, and everybody is kind of collaborating, playing with their hands. Maybe people who thought, oh, I'm not so, I can do that, and then they start, and the whole room lifts, and everyone starts playing and making and creating. And I find it really moving, this part of it. It's like it's out of our hands. The whole people here and the town just starts to create itself.
How does the sighting of it affect some of your ideas? Do you want to be in the centre of town? Do you want to be...
See that moment. And later on, there with the interviews, I really got this feeling of the kind of joy, the happiness, and also a sense of relief. I felt like that's what was coming through, because I think a lot of us, we carry all the kind of weight of the world on our shoulders, and it can feel quite a lonely task. And what I felt from watching these interviews were people had this experience that they were probably walking down the street and passing people every day who also cared as much as them, who were taking action. And so suddenly everything felt possible. You're not doing it on your own. And so it was from doing that I was like, we have to do that. I want that experience in my community. And Roz, who might also be on this call, is an amazing Transition Leytonstone member where I live, and she also took part in the tooting. And together we thought, we've got to do it in Leytonstone. And the film was obviously very useful. We were able to show that to our local councillors and secure sponsorship to be able to put it on. And we did Town Anywhere in Leytonstone about 6 weeks ago. And it was amazing. And I therefore got the chance. I mean, I was kind of hosting. I was also responsible for the filming of ours, although I had someone else film during the day so I could take part. And if I'm really honest, the morning I felt like I had all these different hats on. But when it got to that point again with the making, the physically building, it's like magic happens. I think it's the experience of being completely present. Something weird happens to time. It's like stretchy time, they call it in Town Anywhere, where time seems to go incredibly quickly because you're so present. But at the same time, you're experiencing so much creativity, so many ideas just forming in front of your eyes around a big room of people, that it almost like the air is like pregnant with possibility. It's really quite remarkable. So we have a follow-up meeting next Tuesday from our event where we're kind of keeping the momentum. And then I'll finish the film from the Leytonstone one, and we're going to use that again to bring people together and to share and continue the momentum in July. And just to condense, I think for me, the power of Town Anywhere lies in three things. And one, it's visioning. It's that you're not just standing there saying in the future. You travel to the future and you inhabit it. I'm a Buddhist, and we do this all the time. We say, starting from the point of victory where it's actually already happened. And I think there's something incredibly powerful about that. And then it's the physical making. you could just sit around in a room and talk about these ideas, but the physically making it, Lucy says when she does it, that your fingers have little brains in them. It's like this incredible creativity that comes when you make something. And then to do those two things with other people, because I just don't think we do that anymore. I don't think we have cultures where we collaboratively make and vision, and we're kind of born and made to do it. So this last clip that we'll show it shows Saha talking about her venture from this like point of victory, like it's already happened.
Around to explore and visit other ventures.
We've got a cafe, social hub as well. We've got advice, particularly on plastic-free, how to become.
And yeah, we are looking for a street, so if your street wants to sign up, we can have this done by next year.
Oh yeah, people are... It's quite a big bit, that bit, never mind. It's like a release. It's like, who are we? Oh, that's who we are.
So our creation is the Tuting Community Hub, which consists of us partnering with other organisations. So we have mental health and well-being, physical health and well-being, healthy food space. We have a community garden where we have volunteers that will cultivate it and look after it. So we partner with the schools, so the children from the schools can come in and learn about sustainability, health.
So that's it. And I've put in the chat contacts for Ruth and myself if you want to know more, but also to see any of the longer films, Lily's included, which just give you that sense of agency and possibility that Town Anywhere seeds, and this idea of a rehearsing of the future, which in the present then gives you a memory that gives you, in a sense, a kind of bolder ambition and permission, and often finding that what you're already doing, you've simply got an increased insight onto how valuable that is, and go further with it with others that have had a similar experience. So it acts as an incredible catalyst for possibilities where you are. And I think now Lily and I will say thank you for listening.
Thank you, everybody, or thank you, Lily.